He woke up expecting another ordinary morning, but when the black single dad walked into his living room and saw the powerful CEO wearing his shirt, holding his coffee, and saying something that shook the ground under his feet, his entire life changed in one breath. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more heart-touching WAS stories on Black Inside 2.0. The sun had barely risen over the quiet suburb when Marcus Reed, a strong-shouldered, silver-bearded single father, pushed himself up from the sofa where he had fallen asleep while helping his teenage daughter study the night before. His back ached, the kind of ache that comes from carrying responsibilities far heavier than books or grocery bags. For years, Marcus had been doing everything alone, raising his daughter, working 2 jobs, managing bills, and pretending he wasn't tired. The world saw him as a steady rock. Inside, he felt like a man patching cracks no one else could see. He rubbed his face, stretched, and looked around. That's when he noticed something strange. There was a faint aroma of freshly brewed coffee drifting from the kitchen. Marcus frowned. His daughter was still asleep. He definitely didn't make coffee. And then he heard a soft hum. A voice. A woman's voice. Not fearful, not frantic, just calm, like she belonged there. Marcus stood slowly, unsure whether he was still half dreaming. He walked toward the living room, and his heart stopped, standing by the kitchen counter, with sunlight glowing through her long blonde hair, wearing one of his shirts, oversized on her frame, holding his mug, was Elena Hartwell, billionaire CEO of Hartwell Innovations. He blinked twice, wondering if sleep deprivation had finally broken him. Because Elena Hartwell wasn't just any CEO, she was his boss, and she was in his house, in his shirt, at 7 in the morning. She looked up, gave a soft smile, and said the words that froze him. "Marcus, we need to talk about last night." A night he didn't remember. Marcus's throat went dry. "Elena, what are you doing here?" he asked, hands halfway raised like he was afraid she might vanish if he moved too fast. She set the coffee down gently. "I didn't want to wake your daughter. She's sleeping peacefully. You both deserve that." Marcus's eyes widened. "You checked on her." Elena nodded with a softness that contradicted her corporate iron reputation. Marcus shook his head. His mind tried to rewind. What happened last night? He remembered leaving the office late. He remembered driving home exhausted. He remembered his daughter showing him her project. But Elena, nothing made sense. He took a cautious step forward. "Elena, I need you to tell me exactly why you're here." She sighed, her confident posture softening. "Marcus, you helped me last night. A lot." Her voice softened even more. "And I want to explain everything, before you misunderstand." Helped her. Marcus had no idea what she meant, but he stayed quiet. Elena walked past him and sat on the edge of the sofa. For the first time since he'd known her, she looked human. Not the queen of boardrooms. Not the iron CEO. Just a woman with something heavy on her heart. "Marcus, I had a panic attack last night in the parking garage," she said quietly. No one was around, no driver, no staff. Everyone had left early for the weekend. Marcus's eyebrows pulled together. "You found me," she continued. "You were leaving work. You saw I was struggling. I tried to brush it off, but you didn't let me." Marcus swallowed hard. He remembered going to his car, seeing someone leaning against their vehicle, but he had been so tired he barely recalled faces. "You said it was okay for me to sit in your car till I calmed down," she said. "You talked to me. You told me to breathe. You told me I wasn't alone." She exhaled shakily. "My driver couldn't reach me. My phone died. I couldn't go home in that state. And you didn't leave me." Marcus stared at her, stunned. He had helped dozens of people in tiny ways over the years, neighbors, co-workers, strangers, but he never imagined he would be the one catching the fall of a billionaire CEO. "But how did you end up here?" he asked softly. She looked away, embarrassed. "You drove me here," she whispered. "You said your house was closer than mine, and you didn't want me alone." Marcus blinked. He had driven her here, brought her inside. He sat on the sofa, and must have fallen asleep. But the shirt, Elena followed his eyes and flushed. "Oh, this," she murmured, tugging at the hem. "Mine was uncomfortable. You said there were clean shirts in the laundry. I borrowed one." Marcus rubbed his forehead. This morning just kept getting stranger. "Elena, you're the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company. If the media found out you were here." "I don't care about that," she said firmly. He looked up, startled by her tone. "I care about what happened next," she said quietly. The confession that shook him. Elena stood again, this time stepping closer. Marcus, last night, when you talked me through my panic, you said something. Marcus's brows furrowed. You said, no matter how successful someone looks, everyone needs someone who sees the tired version of them and doesn't walk away. Marcus froze. That sounded exactly like him. And then, Elena said, voice softening, you told me that I didn't have to keep being strong every second of every day. She swallowed. No one ever says that to me, Marcus. He opened his mouth, but no words came. You see me, she whispered. Not the CEO. Not the title. Me. Marcus took a step back. Elena stepped forward. Marcus, I came here this morning because I needed to finish telling you something I tried to say last night. He held his breath. I admire the way you raise your daughter. The way you carry your responsibilities. The way you treat people. I admire your strength, your kindness, your heart. Marcus's chest tightened. Elena, she looked up, eyes glistening, not from sadness but from something far deeper. I didn't come here because of panic, she said softly. I came because I feel something for you. Something I haven't felt in years. The room went silent. Marcus's heartbeat echoed in his ears. This couldn't be happening, not to him, not in his living room, not from her. Elena, he finally whispered. I'm just a single dad trying to keep life together. You're a CEO. Our worlds met the moment you chose to care, she said firmly. Before he could respond, soft footsteps echoed from the hallway. His daughter sees it all. 14-year-old Maya rubbed her eyes as she walked into the living room. Dad, I heard voices. She froze when she saw Elena wearing her dad's shirt. Marcus almost choked on his own breath. Maya, wait, this isn't what it looks like, he rushed. Maya blinked, then blinked again, then gave the most teenage smirk in existence. Dad, did you just get up and already start embarrassing yourself? Elena laughed softly. Marcus covered his face. Maya walked over casually, grabbed an apple from the counter, and looked at Elena. You're the CEO from the poster in Dad's office, right? Elena nodded. Yes, you're wearing my dad's shirt, Maya said matter-of-factly. Marcus groaned internally. Elena cleared her throat. Yes, he helped me last night. A lot. Maya's expression softened. Dad helps everyone. The simplicity of her statement silenced the room. Maya took a bite of her apple, then shrugged. Well, I like her. Can we keep her, Maya? Marcus nearly yelled. Elena burst into laughter. Maya walked away proudly, leaving Marcus speechless and Elena smiling. The moment that changed everything. After Maya went to get ready for school, Marcus and Elena stood facing each other again. Elena, you're kind, you're strong, you're incredible, but I don't want to mislead you. I don't have the time, the luxury, or the lifestyle to fit into your world. Elena reached out, gently taking his hand. Marcus, then let me fit into yours. Those 6 words cracked open something he had sealed shut for years. She continued softly, you think your world is small because you carry so much alone. But your world is full of warmth, honesty, loyalty, things my world has been missing for a long time. Marcus swallowed. Elena, if you want me to leave, I will, she whispered. But if you feel even a piece of what I feel, then let this moment be the beginning. He looked at her, really looked at her, a woman who held $1 billion empire together, but looked at him like he was the steady thing in her life. A woman who could be anywhere, yet chose his simple living room. A woman who didn't see status, salary, or titles. Just him. Marcus took a breath that felt like the first deep breath in years. Elena, I'm scared. She stepped closer. So am I, she whispered. But maybe that's how we know it's real. Marcus's heart finally gave in. He pulled her gently into his arms. She melted into him like her soul had been waiting for that exact embrace. And for the first time in a long time, Marcus felt something he hadn't felt since the day his wife passed. Hope, a new beginning. Over the following weeks, Elena visited often, sometimes for coffee, sometimes for dinner, sometimes to help Maya with school projects, sometimes just to sit quietly on the sofa while Marcus read. She didn't take over his world. She blended into it. The neighbors whispered, the office buzzed, but Marcus cared less and less about anyone's opinions. Because Elena didn't love his paycheck. She loved his presence, his patience, his honesty, his care, and he loved her courage, her vulnerability, her surprising silliness, her unexpected gentleness. Soon, Maya began calling her E, and Elena's eyes always softened at the nickname. One evening, while Elena was teaching Maya how to braid hair, Maya whispered, Dad smiles more when you're around. Elena's chest tightened with emotion. She looked across the room at Marcus. And for the first time, she allowed herself to fully imagine a future that felt real, warm, and beautifully imperfect. The final revelation. 3 months later, Elena invited Marcus and Maya to a private event at her company headquarters. When they arrived, the lights dimmed, and the huge screen lit up with a slideshow, pictures of community projects Marcus had volunteered for, moments where he had helped coworkers, times he had gone out of his way to make someone's day better. Then Elena stepped onto the stage. Her voice shook slightly as she spoke. Some leaders run businesses, but some people lead with their hearts. She turned toward Marcus. This man changed my life the night he told me I didn't have to be strong every second of every day. He reminded me that humanity matters more than titles, and he gave me something priceless, a reason to breathe again. The audience turned toward Marcus. Elena walked down the steps, approached him, and took his hand. Marcus Reed, thank you for seeing me, for helping me, for teaching me what strength truly looks like. Marcus felt his throat tighten. And if you'll allow it, she whispered with a soft tremble in her voice. I want us to keep building something. Together. The room erupted in applause. Maya squealed, and Marcus, the single dad who thought life had already written his story, realized this was only the beginning. He pulled Elena close, and for the first time on camera, in front of the world, she smiled not like a CEO, but like a woman who had finally found home.